guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if this is your very first time here. My name is Megan and I make motherhood and lifestyle videos twice a week here on YouTube. So if that sounds like your jam, I would love if you would hit that subscribe button and join our community. Today I'm doing a continuation in my What I Wish I Had Known series, and most of my videos in this series have been about motherhood topics. So pregnancy, postpartum, breastfeeding, that kind of thing. But today I wanted to do something a little bit different, and so we're talking about what I wish I had known before becoming a full-time influencer. So a little background on me, I have been doing YouTube for about 4 years, and 6 months ago I was finally able to take my channel full-time. It is my full-time job. I replaced my corporate salary with my income from doing videos here on YouTube. I have been a massive YouTube consumer for as long as I can remember. I was going to VidCon when I was like 14, 15 and fangirling over meeting all of my favorite creators and dreaming about doing this as a job one day. And I am so thankful to be here and to be doing my childhood dream. Like, that is insane to me. But also, in a lot of ways, it's different than what I expected. So I thought I would share that with you guys to shed some light on this industry and also to help anybody who is also thinking about pursuing this as a career. The first thing I wish I had known is that it can take a really long time, like a really long time. Like I said, I've been doing YouTube for 4 years and I really only started making money about a year ago. And even then it was kind of a unicorn moment for me where one of my videos, my birth vlog of having my son, went viral. And that's kind of what launched my career. And it's true that some people do have overnight success and they rise to stardom and they have 1 million subscribers. But for a lot of us, it's kind of just chugging along until you get there. And I think you really have to have a passion for it, because if you're only in it for the results, if you're only trying to make an income and have a certain number of followers, then you will probably end up quitting because it can be incredibly discouraging sometimes. But if you really love it and you really love creating the content, then it's a joy. Like, the journey itself is a joy, even if it takes a really long time to get to where you want to be. The second thing I wish I had known was how to be successful and how to start my channel off on the right foot. And I'm embarrassed to talk about this because my first videos, I don't know what I was doing. I started out the gate with a favorites video. Nobody knew who I was. Nobody cared what my favorites were. Like, I still don't make favorites videos very often because they don't do well, because I don't have like 1 million subscribers hanging on my every word like Zoella does, you know? The number one thing that I would say to somebody starting right now is make videos people are searching for. You can use softwares like TubeBuddy, vidIQ, Google Keywords to search different topics and figure out what people are searching for, because at the end of the day, YouTube is a search engine, and if you're able to rank for a highly searched term, then that's what's going to help you be successful. Along with that, learn about SEO. The TubeBuddy and vidIQ YouTube channels have a ton of information on this. Basically, it's search engine optimization. It's like, this is way oversimplifying it, but it's utilizing the text that goes along with your video. So like your tags, your description, your title, to rank in search. Look up the phrase long tail keywords. That should kind of get you started on the right path. And my other super condensed piece of advice for being successful on YouTube is you have to be the last man standing. You have to be consistently posting videos 1, 2, 3 times a week for a long period of time. And when you don't see results right away, you cannot give up. Like, I can't tell you how many people I met when we all started YouTube at the same time and we were so excited about our channels. And of all of those people, I'm the only one I know that's still making videos. And I think that like the grit to just like keep going no matter what is essential, because eventually, like, you're gonna keep growing. Eventually you're gonna get to where you want to be, and it's just a matter of powering through until you get there, even if it takes years. Kind of going along with that, something else I wish I had known is that as an influencer or a content creator or whatever you want to call this weird job, you do have to invest in your business. I thought that because it is kind of almost like a service-based business, like it's definitely closer to a service-based business than a retail business, there wouldn't be a lot of overhead, because obviously you need your computer and your phone or camera and an editing software. But for the most part, it's you sitting down and talking and then editing your own work and then putting it up on YouTube. Doesn't cost any money to put a video up on YouTube. But what I didn't realize is that A, you gotta educate yourself, and sometimes that takes money. Like, I've taken a lot of courses and master classes and seminars to learn how to do this the right way, how to provide value to you guys, how to show up in the algorithm. But then there are also other costs, like I pay for a PR mailbox so that if brands or my lovely subscribers ever want to send me something, I have a place where all of that can go without giving out my home address on the internet, which is obviously a big no-no. I also pay for a membership that allows me to use royalty-free music in all of my videos. I pay for my Adobe Premiere Pro, which is my editing program. There's equipment costs, website fees, domain hosting, all of that. Obviously, you don't need to start with all of that. Like, you can start with your iPhone and iMovie if you want to, but just something to think about down the line when you're trying to do your like financial projections, that you do have to invest in your business a little bit as you grow. Continuing with the kind of financial aspect, I wish I had known that YouTubers don't make a ton of money all the time. I think everybody tends to think that if you are like a career YouTuber, like you're doing this as a full-time job, you're automatically making like 6 figures all the way up to like a crazy amount of money. And that's true for like the big creators. So like in the motherhood space, I would think of like KK and Baby J, like they're probably making bank. But I'm a very small channel. Like, I have 35,000 wonderful people in this community, and I could not be more grateful for them. But in terms of like what brands are looking for, like that's kind of a drop in the bucket. I think as a whole, influencers also tend to undercharge and undervalue themselves. So that's one of the reasons that I've been able to leverage this into a career, even with smaller numbers, because I charge higher prices to work with brands, because I was a videographer before this. And so I know like, here's what it takes to produce a video and edit it and everything that goes into that. And so I kind of took my pricing structure for my videography work for like weddings and stuff like that, and I used that to inform my influencer strategy for pricing. But even so, being totally vulnerable with you guys, like I'm making less than the average salary for a public high school teacher, which is fine because I don't need to be rich. I love what I'm doing, and I'm so grateful that it enables me to stay home with my baby. It is scalable income as well. So as my community grows, it has the potential to grow exponentially. But I get comments all the time that are like, oh, you're considering sending your son to public school? Like, if you have the money, you have the responsibility to send them to private school. And I'm like, how much money do you think I make? People assume that you have a lot of money and that you're making a lot of money, and that is just not always the case. In fact, another thing that I wish I had known is that it can be really difficult to get so much input on you and your decisions from other people. So people's assumptions about you, people's unsolicited advice, just like in general, people's opinions. I don't think as humans we were meant to get so many different opinions about what we're doing, because in like a normal job, you might get feedback from like your boss, your coworkers, your friends, and your family. Whereas on the internet, you're putting yourself out there to a lot of people. Obviously, like 99.9% of you guys are so sweet and lovely. There are hate comments. There are people say awful things on the internet. And even when it's not mean, just to get a lot of opinions and advice all the time is kind of a lot to deal with, because sometimes it feels like take the garden, for example. I am a very novice gardener. I'm just starting out. This was my first year. I made a lot of mistakes, and I got a lot of feedback from people, and a lot of it was helpful, but it was still a lot. When you're starting something new and you are just trying to learn it, and you automatically have a couple hundred people say, hey, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong, like you can feel like a failure, and it can get really overwhelming. Or like with motherhood things, like there's always going to be somebody who disagrees with what you do, whether it's about how you're feeding your kid or whether or not you sleep train. Like you're going to get one side that's like, yes, that's absolutely the right way to do it. Awesome job. Thanks for talking about this. You're going to get the other side saying, I can't believe you would do that. That's terrible parenting. There's always both. Always. I think you have to be really set in who you are and very confident in yourself. And that's something that I'm still working on, because getting that much feedback and input can make your own opinions feel like they're not as important, because you're one person in a sea, Something else I wish I had known is that you might not necessarily develop a thick skin to those mean comments. Like I thought that the more I got them, the tougher I would get. And honestly, that has not been true for me. I am trying. I'm really trying. I have a lot of terms filtered out. So offensive words, I don't see those comments because they get filtered out by YouTube's software, but still stuff sneaks through, and it's hard every time. It's hard. It just is. And I think if I were not affected by that kind of stuff at all, that wouldn't be me. I'm a very emotionally open person, and it makes sense that that kind of stuff would hurt me. So it's kind of been a matter of sometimes letting Matt check my comments before I do, but also being able to redirect my thoughts when I do get those mean things, because it hurts, but it's like I can't dwell on it. I gotta redirect to something else. And then the last thing I wish I had known before becoming a full-time influencer is that you are doing a lot of people's jobs and they're not all creative. I had this idea when I was a teenager that being an influencer would just be like the easiest job in the world because, oh, you're just filming what you're already doing. You're filming your life. Like, that's not really any extra work. And I was so wrong because I didn't realize, whipping out the camera is like not always what you're thinking about doing unless you're in work mindset, which can make your whole life feel like work mindset. I'm also constantly trying to get better and more creative shots. And so like I'm like setting up these elaborate shots with like my camera precariously balanced on stuff. And like, it's not just like, oh, pop it down on the kitchen counter and do whatever I'm doing. Also, editing takes hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. But what I really didn't account for is the fact that I am also my legal department. I deal with all of my contracts. I'm doing all my own negotiations. I am my own HR department. I'm accounts receivable. I'm chasing down all my bills. And obviously, as you get bigger, ideally, you're able to hire a team to do some of those things for you. But like I said, I'm an itty bitty influencer and that's not feasible for me right now. So I'm doing it. And it's not all the creative work that I love. The sitting down and the talking to you guys and the editing, those are the parts of my job that I love so much and that keep me going even when it's hard. But like, contracts, billing, not my favorite. And I think that kind of stuff is at least half the time of what I do. So looking at it on the bright side, I've learned a lot of new skills. Oh, and taxes. Don't even get me started on taxes. Actually, do get me started on taxes. Here's my actual last point. Another thing I wish I had known before becoming a full-time influencer is more about taxes as a self-employed person. Some of you probably know this, so bear with me because I know there will be a few people who didn't. When you're self-employed, you're paying 100% of the employee and the employer taxes. For example, Matt works an 8 to 5, so his employer pays a portion of his taxes, like Medicare and all that stuff. They also match a portion of what he puts into retirement. And as a self-employed person, neither of those things happen. So like, for example, in California, the state that I used to live in, the self-employment tax bracket is like 37%, which is a lot. That's over a third of your income. Of course, if you are investing in your business, there are deductions you can make and there's a whole bunch of stuff. But like, I just wish I had known more in depth how to set up the financial structure of like the retirement accounts and saving for taxes and all of that, because it's very different than working in a corporate environment. Overall, I am so incredibly grateful for this job. Like, I wake up every morning and I cannot believe that I get to do this for work. Like, it just blows my mind. It's something I've wanted for over 10 years. So it's crazy. And I'm so grateful to you guys for being here and for allowing me to do this. Let me know if you liked this video. I know it was a little bit different from what I normally do, but I could definitely do more like this. If you want a whole video or a whole series just on how to grow on YouTube, let me know. It's obviously something I'm very passionate about and something that I enjoy discussing. But I hope this shed some light for you on this industry. If you are thinking about starting this as a career and you have the passion and determination to do it no matter what, go for it. I am so excited for you. Start now. Start with what you have. I wish that I had started earlier. And tag me in your stuff so I can see it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I love you a lot and I can't wait to see you in the next one.